Evelyn Carter inherited the farm from her late grandfather in rural Montana. It wasn't much, just a weathered farmhouse, a collapsing red barn, and a few acres of rocky pasture that most neighbors considered useless. Unlike nearby cattle ranches, Evelyn chose something different. Alpacas. Everyone thought she had made a terrible mistake. Alpacas weren't common in the area. People didn't understand them. To make matters worse, Evelyn refused to overfeed them simply to make them look bigger. They're healthy, she always insisted. They're built differently. But healthy or not, they looked painfully thin. Every auction became humiliating. Other farmers whispered behind her back, "She's raising bones with fur." Even buyers laughed. Some offered prices so low they felt insulting. Still, Evelyn smiled politely and went home. Because she knew something they didn't. Years earlier, Evelyn's grandfather had taught her something unusual. He believed alpacas that adapted naturally to harsh winters often produced finer fiber than heavily pampered animals. Most people chased quantity. He chased quality. He once told her, "The mountain doesn't reward the fattest animal. It rewards the one that learns to survive." Those words stayed with her. Instead of expensive grain diets, Evelyn focused on healthy pasture, minerals, clean water, careful breeding, and stress-free care. Every decision was made for long-term fiber quality, not appearance. Neighbors called her stubborn. She called it patience. Then came the weather forecast. Meteorologists warned of one of the coldest winters in decades. Temperatures dropped far below normal. Snow buried roads, power lines snapped. Many ranchers rushed to sell livestock before feed costs exploded. Some mocked Evelyn again. "Those skinny alpacas won't last 2 weeks." But Evelyn refused to panic. She reinforced shelters, stored extra hay, checked every animal morning and night. She barely slept. Each sunrise brought another freezing morning. Yet something remarkable happened. Her alpacas stayed calm. Their fleece became unbelievably dense. Every day the fiber grew softer, warmer, and finer. Without anyone realizing, nature was doing exactly what her grandfather had predicted. As winter finally loosened its grip, Evelyn sheared the herd. The bags of fleece looked ordinary, at least to everyone else. She mailed samples to a luxury fiber laboratory that specialized in grading premium alpaca wool. Then she waited. A week later, her phone rang. The technician sounded almost confused. Where did this fleece come from? Evelyn thought something was wrong. Instead, the technician explained that several samples measured extraordinarily fine. Some fibers were comparable to luxury grades usually found only in elite breeding programs. The consistency was even more surprising. Nearly every alpaca in the herd produced exceptional fiber. The laboratory wanted more samples immediately. Word travels fast in farming communities. Within days, buyers began calling. Textile companies wanted appointments. Luxury yarn producers requested private meetings. One international fiber broker even offered to drive hundreds of miles to inspect the herd. Neighbors couldn't believe it. The same animals they had mocked all year were suddenly attracting serious attention. Cars filled Evelyn's driveway. People who once laughed now asked for advice. Some apologized. Others pretended they had always believed in her. Evelyn simply smiled. She wasn't interested in revenge, only in proving that patience sometimes looks foolish until it works. Part 6, the Auction A regional fiber auction, was scheduled only weeks later. Normally, Evelyn expected average prices. This year felt different. As her first fleece entered bidding, the room became unusually quiet. Then, one bidder raised the price. Another immediately topped it. Then, another. The numbers climbed far beyond anything Evelyn had imagined. Gasps filled the auction hall. Even experienced brokers shook their heads. One bale sold for several times the regional average. Then another. Then another. By the end of the day, the fleece from her 35 alpacas had earned more money than some neighboring farms made from an entire season of livestock sales. People who had mocked her couldn't even look her in the eye. Money finally allowed Evelyn to repair the old barn. She installed better fencing, built improved shelters, expanded pasture. Most importantly, she refused to change her breeding philosophy. Many investors offered partnerships. Some wanted her to scale quickly. Others suggested maximizing production. She declined. Quality remained more important than speed. Her farm slowly became known for producing exceptionally fine alpaca fiber rather than the largest herd. Farmers from other states came to learn her methods. Students visited every year. Her grandfather's forgotten lessons were no longer forgotten. Looking at Evelyn's alpacas today, many people still notice they aren't as bulky as other livestock. But now, no one laughs, because they understand something they didn't before. Appearances can fool you. Sometimes the greatest value isn't visible at first glance. It grows quietly, patiently, season after season. And sometimes, the very thing people mock today becomes the reason they admire you tomorrow. If you enjoyed this inspiring farm story, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more unforgettable stories from farms across America. Because on every farm, there's always another incredible story waiting to be told.